like if I speak to the president of Italy, if I speak to anybody, I know that there are many intelligence people on the line. I know that. I mean, with my understanding and knowledge. I don't know exactly who, but I assume there are many people. Fortunately, they had transcribers, stenographers, people that do this for a living on the line, because we have an exact copy of the report, of the call. So the call was put out immediately when I started hearing about the whistleblower. Well, the whistleblower's report was totally wrong. The whistleblower didn't know what he was talking about, or was given false information, or was even worse than that. Now all of a sudden, Schiff doesn't want to talk to the whistleblower. Now all of a sudden, quid pro quo doesn't matter, because now they see in the call there was no quid pro quo. So with Rudy was seeking out corruption, and I think there's nothing wrong with seeking out corruption. Did you have Steve?
Rudy registers as a foreign lobbyist.
I don't know what he did. I don't know. That's up to him. That you have to ask. Excuse me. No, you have to ask Rudy those questions. Don't ask me. But Rudy was one of many people that was incensed at the corruption that took place during that election. Pure corruption. For instance, I still ask the FBI, where is the server? How come the FBI never got the server from the DNC? Where is the server? I want to see the server. Let's see what's on the server. So the server, they say, is held by a company whose primary ownership individual is from Ukraine. I'd like to see the server. I think it's very important for this country to see the server. Nobody wants to see it. The media never wants to see it, but I'll tell you, Republicans want to see it.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, what is the Army of Northern Virginia and how are they assisting Q in exposing the criminal corruption that is all around us, including what's happening with Ukraine and what's happened in the past with the Obama administration and spying on their political opponents and then using that spy material for blackmail and leverage. We're going to ask these important questions plus a whole lot more. You guys are going to stick around and check it out. Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. You guys know I always thank you for hitting the subscribe button. If you haven't, come here and do that. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified. And boy, do we have an episode for you tonight. And yes, I am back now in the studio, and we have content that's going to be coming out on at least a daily basis, if not more. So you guys are going to want to stick around and check that out. Here we are at the Q boards. Nothing new yet. The new website, which is going to be replacing 8chan, called 8kun, is still in development. And it is going to be launched, from my sources are saying, by the end of this month. And my sources are also telling everyone right now that they're ready to come forward. And they're going out in a major campaign to not only expose the criminal corruption that was in the previous administration and before, but they're also coming forward and giving us a whole lot more information about what QAnon is and how it relates to the president. And some of those people are going to be coming on this very show. And you guys are going to want to stick around to see that. That's coming up in the next few days. First, though, I encourage you, look, they're trying, the content suppression police, the thought police at YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, they want to shut this information down. I know this gets tiresome to some people, but there's a lot of new people joining this every single day, and you got to know that they're actively suppressing this content. And it's not because I feel bad for myself. It's because this content has to get out. And the people who need to hear it are the ones who it's being withheld from the most. So how do you help? It's simple. Just hit the share button. And if you scratch your head and go, what is QAnon and what's this guy talking about? Watch this video. Share them on your social media and get the word out that way. Thank you so much for your help in doing that. Now let's get in the first story. You guys know we've been following Mary Fanning and Alan Jones, and they're reporting over at theamericanreport.org. Well, let me tell you what. They're coming out with bombshell after bombshell after bombshell, exposing the fact that the United States government is possibly withholding exculpatory evidence in relation to the case against General Flynn. Now, why would they do that? They're doing it because they know the national security implications of what is at stake. So let's get a little bit more of a context to this. You guys know I've talked about this story ad nauseum, and it keeps developing and changing. But what we know now is you have Lieutenant General Michael Flynn and his attorney, Sidney Powell, coming out and saying that the United States federal government, in its case against General Flynn, is withholding exculpatory evidence which would prove that not only is General Flynn innocent, but he is the victim of a very broad conspiracy that was brought by the Obama administration and his henchmen, James Clapper, James Comey, and John Brennan, and others, when they illegally stole and used the super surveillance system, which was basically nicknamed the Hammer. What was it? It was a very, very complex super surveillance system that was a tool of the NSA that was exposed through the Vault 7 dump by WikiLeaks, which was capable of spying on anyone, anywhere, anytime, digitally. Now, how do we know this? Well, a whistleblower by the name of Dennis Montgomery came forward in 2015. So this is before President Trump was even basically running for office. In 2015, Dennis Montgomery went to the FBI field office in Miami with 47 hard drives, which contained proof, according to him and his attorney, I believe is Lawrence Klayman is his attorney, that President Obama ordered John Brennan to illegally steal and then use this spy system to spy on political opponents of the Obama administration and U.S. citizens at large in general. Now, this story is getting just more and more incredible as we go forward, including the fact, here's a new list that I think we need to touch on for just 1 second of what's happening. But I want to read this excerpt to you because I think it explains everything. It says, CIA contractor turned whistleblower Dennis Montgomery asserts that the FBI buried the evidence Montgomery provided in 2015 to FBI Director James Comey, FBI General Counsel James Baker, and Assistant U.S. Attorney Deborah Curtis that proved John Brennan and James Clapper illegally wiretapped Lieutenant General Michael Flynn with the Hammer. Now, I'm going to stop right there for 1 second and just explain something a little further. What Dennis Montgomery alleges is that he turned these 47 hard drives over to the FBI field office in Miami under the purview of James Comey, and that those just magically disappeared and have never come back. He apparently has documentation and receipts for turning in these hard drives. So just keep that in mind. It goes on, the Hammer is the foreign super surveillance tool that, according to Montgomery, Brennan and Clapper illegally commandeered and transformed into an unlawful domestic surveillance system. The DOJ hid from General Flynn and from Flynn's attorney, Sidney Powell, information about the Hammer that Montgomery provided to the FBI and to Assistant U.S. Attorney Curtis. The DOJ failed to disclose to General Flynn and his defense team that Brennan and Clapper illegally used the Hammer to wiretap Flynn, as well as Donald Trump. According to Montgomery, Brennan and Clapper, during Barack Obama's presidency, illegally harvested surveillance data on high-profile individuals, including General Flynn, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, one-time head of the FISA court Judge Reggie Walton, and 156 Article 3 judges, business leaders, Wall Street executives, and millions of other Americans. According to Montgomery, Brennan and Clapper illegally harvested the domestic surveillance data for the purpose of blackmail and leverage. The government's entire prosecution of General Flynn is tainted in much the same fashion as the DOJ's 2008 prosecution of Republican U.S. Senator Ted Stevens from Alaska was tainted. Now, remember this. We have to look at this case very closely. And I'm going to leave a link to this because I don't want to spend too much time going through it because we've already covered a lot of these facts. And there's a lot of information that you can probably glean off this latest article, which I encourage you to go check out. Mary Fanning Allen Jones, great reporting. But let's just understand this for what it is. As you just heard there are allegations out there by Dennis Montgomery with alleged proof that exists that seem to suggest they were blackmailing and extorting basically everyone from General Flynn to Trump to Giuliani to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the late Justice Antonin Scalia, plus the FISA court judges. I mean, we have to understand the gravity of this, and I think this is a lot of what may come out in the FISA IG report. I hope this is a part of the declassification because this has to be exposed. Now, the mainstream media will never touch this story with a 10-foot pole. They've already done everything they can to smear Dennis Montgomery, to drag people's names through the mud who are even attached to this, including Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. So let's just put this all into perspective. This story is big and it needs to be covered. So getting into a new interesting facet of information. So I can explain now that there's a retired general named Paul Vallely who was working with people like Admiral Ace Lyons, who was working with people like General McInerney. These are the individuals who have been coming forward and helping to expose this illegal surveillance system abuse that was being conducted by the Obama administration. So they're also in the process of exposing things like the criminal activity behind Benghazi. The theory right now behind Benghazi is something I'm going to be discussing with one of the primary whistleblowers who was actually there in AFRICOM in Germany, who was there watching in real time the whole sequence of events that happened that led to the death of Ambassador Stevens and 3 others in that embassy in Libya, and how there was no effort made by the Obama administration to help those individuals, and how it possibly was allowed to happen, because there's a theory out there that Ambassador Stevens knew about the way the Obama administration was smuggling guns into ISIS in Syria. So they had to basically shut him down because I guess he was going to be coming forward against them. But we're going to have one of my good friends come forward on that, and and they've been the ones I've been working with kind of behind the scenes. I haven't been able to talk about a lot of this on publicly because they've been asking that we kind of hold back. I'm talking about General Paul Vallely, General McInerney, and Admiral Ace Lyons passed away, but he's obviously a part of this as well, and there are others too. But I can tell you right now, whistleblowers coming forward, people who have come forward in the past, I've been talking to, such as Sergeant Cattell, who was one of the first whistleblowers to come out against what happened in Benghazi. But we're going to expose Benghazi, and my friend, my good friend, is going to be coming on to do that. We're going to make an announcement on that in the next couple days. But this is retired General Paul Vallely, who's talking about Q. And this was on Patriot Soapbox, I guess. He was doing an interview. But they are doing interviews across the board right now. So I've already seen some of these people on other channels, but that's what's most important. These all started with Operation Freedom and Dave Janda, and now they're coming full force in Red October to expose what's happening. Now, this is the part that we want to focus on. What did retired General Paul Vallely actually say? Well, in response to a question that was posted saying, who is the individual calling himself or themselves Q, General Vallely said this, quote, QAnon is information that comes out of a group called the Army of North Virginia. This is a group of military intelligence specialists of over 800 people that advises the president. The president does not have a lot of confidence in the CIA or the DIA much anymore, so the president relies on real operators who are mostly special operations type of people. This is where Q picks up some of his information. So this is an incredible insight into what Q is and what we've been a part of from the beginning. Now, I can tell you that all of these sources are checking out on my end, and these are a lot of the people that I've been telling you are my sources, to just be quite frank. And this is a huge story, but this is happening in real time. And we're going to actually talk about a theory that kind of ties all of this together, that if it is true, from what I'm hearing, going into the end of October and into the beginning of November is when we're going to see an incredible amount of action take place. And we're already seeing it happen over and over and over again, where people are being exposed, basically. And we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton here at the end of this episode, but that is an incredible thing to find out now. And I want to talk, about this Army of North Virginia, right? Apparently, it's the United States Army Intelligence Support, which is a special forces branch, and they do so much for the United States military. Now, this is what Q told us in the beginning, that we were working in an operation with military intelligence. Now, this is the part that is the military intelligence part. So I hope this is all making sense. And what I want to point out is that the logo for the Army of North Virginia, aka what is their name? The Intelligence Support, or the United States Army Intelligence Support Activity, aka the Army of North Virginia. Look at their symbol. It's kind of interesting. It kind of looks like a Q. Just throwing that out there too. That's their patch, and that seems to be something that was interesting that I kind of saw and was like, oh well, this all is starting to make sense, isn't it? Now, why would military intelligence have to come forward and help President Trump to expose this criminality if it is, as we all pretty much know at this time, so self-evident? Well, it's because of this. Impeaching Trump is the attempt by the intelligence community to take over our democratic elections. So don't forget that that's what this is all about. It has little to do with the fact that, the criminality is being exposed, because those could be exposed through investigations and we could actually find this out. But we have to bring military intelligence in because we have a rogue deep state, a rogue intelligence community that has gone off the rails, that has decided that they can overtake our democratic elections and just veto them with their coup that they are trying to put against the president. So we have to remember that. Okay, that's a part of this. It's a big part of all of this. And that goes right into Hillary Clinton and what happened. So when Q kept saying they never thought she would lose, there was a 16-year plan to destroy this country, which they got about 8 years through it with Obama. Now, here's where it all starts. CrowdStrike. As you saw in the beginning, President Trump asking, where is the server? Why does the FBI not have the server? Why is the server being held by a company who's based, the owners are based out of Ukraine? Why? It's because they're trying to cover up all of the things that they knew, right? What does the DNC server really do? It exposes the fact that they had information they should not have had. They should not have had information that would have allowed them to blackmail and leverage people out of actively working against them. This is really the most important story, I think, of all of what we're covering here, because it exposes truly, along with what you see with the hammer, it is the pivot point that takes you directly in to understanding the abuse of the surveillance state by the Obama administration, how they were weaponizing it for their own political gains, and how they undermine our democracy and are now engaged in an active coup against the president. So for everyone out there saying that we're all crazy conspiracy theorists, well, the facts aren't leading to that. The facts are actually leading to there is a deep state, there is a conspiracy, but it is real and it is against the president of the United States and the democratic elections in our country. So CrowdStrike is going to be I think the linchpin for understanding all of this, and it ties into this whole idea that you have now coming out today, the State Department saying that nearly 600 security violations were found in the Clinton email investigation. But mainstream media says, oh, there's no proof that anything was wrong. Well, no, actually, there's something more to this. And don't forget, when Q explained to us the sequence of events that would happen, the beginning of Q, the very beginning, where it said that there would be arrests coming and that there was that Hillary's passport was going to be taken down on 10/30. Well, I think what the timing was that. We'll look at the post real quick. Here it is, the very first Q post saying HRC extradition already in motion effective yesterday with several countries in case of cross-border run, passport approved to be flagged effective 10:30 at 12:01 a.m. Expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. U.S. Marines will conduct the operation while a National Guard activated proof check located National Guard member and ask if they've been activated for 10:30 across most major cities. Now, when I first started doing these Q posts, I actually had a good friend of mine who was in the National Guard at that time and had been activated. So that's what kind of got me onto this, because when I saw these first few posts, I realized very quickly that this was all real, and that the information we were getting was very accurate and we should be following it. But understand this. Everything that we're seeing is leading us to this one conclusion, that Hillary Clinton knows something big is coming. Now, why do I say that? Because we have this. We have a story coming out not more than 10 days ago or 10 days or so ago, coming out about the moment the FBI agents found Hillary Clinton emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Now, how does that tie back into everything? Because we have all the emails. That's the point. The point is we have all the information from presumably one side publicly of the DNC server, meaning Anthony Weiner, the laptops that were sent there that were stored in the file called insurance that a lot of NYPD officers saw, and we hope and pray that they're, protected, and we know that some of them may not be with us, but we just don't know yet. But you got to understand that this is important to remember, that what was found on this laptop is a part of the DNC, a part of what CrowdStrike was hired to cover up, a part of what Fusion GPS was hired to launch the counter coup, or to launch the coup against President Trump with the Steele dossier and all of that from Hillary Clinton. This is all part of the same organization, and it's confirmed here that 340,000 emails between Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin were reportedly found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Now, put this in context of Hillary Clinton coming out only a few days before that, I believe, here on October 4th, and calling for the Constitution to be shredded. Now, why would she want to shred the Constitution of the United States? Is it possibly because that same Constitution has laws in it that would make her guilty of the crimes that we are investigating right now, including crimes of treason, sedition, and so much more? You guys, I'm asking that question. So is that what this is all about? Is that what the panic's for? And is that what we may see coming up here shortly with October, the October dates lining up? We will have to wait and see, not to mention the fact that we have convoys of trucks seen emptying out the Obama-linked former Ukrainian President Poroshenko's palace, and his confidants are being arrested and trying to flee. And this is confirmed through a Ukrainian source here, which talks about, or I think a Russian or a Ukrainian news website, which talks about airports being blocked in Kiev, trying to keep officials from leaving in a panic. So it's happening. The storm is here, Red October, and we're not pulling any punches. We are going all out, and we are going to expose this. And like I said, we're going to have incredible sources coming on the show to tell you all about it, and to tell you about Benghazi and all the other truths that we need to discuss. But that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave it. First of all, thank you guys for watching. Come here, share these videos, get them out on your social media, hit that subscribe button, and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to think about everything that we covered here today. Also, be brave, download the Brave browser. It's great. I love this thing. It's awesome. I recommend you use the link in the description because it's a win-win. If you use the link in the description to download it and then install it and run it on your computer, then they will actually support Just Informed Talk, and you will get a browser that gives you the best internet experience, free of all those ads that make it nearly impossible to read some of your favorite websites. So use the link in the description to download the Brave browser and try it out for yourself. You just download it, install it, and run it like you would any other internet browser, like your Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, whatever. It's just like that, but it's better, and I encourage you all to go use it. Also, come find me over here on Twitter at JustinformedU, the official Twitter page for Just Informed Talk. All you gotta do is come here, hit follow, and we can have a conversation outside the channel. It's a great way to connect. I also have JustinformedNews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk, where you get links to different news sites and the Q stuff and everything else. I'll be updating the links as the new Q platform comes up. But for now, this is where you go if you want to get any other information, or just you want to come to watch the videos, or to get news links and breaking news stories. It's a great website, great tool for you guys. Go check out JustinformedNews.com. A couple other ways you can help out are both financial, Patreon, Patreon.com, which is basically the way you support the channel. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a crowdfunding website. It's linked in the description. It's a monthly donation. You set it and forget it. You know, you're helping create content here on the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Also, you can support Just Informed Talk over on GoFundMe. If you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation, your support keeps this channel alive. Thank you so much for your support. Now, here we go. This is the best part of the episode. where we do a segment called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, I have a very special message about waiting for the Lord that I want to share with you. And it's about patience and understanding and forgiveness. I think we all fall short a lot of times, and I know I'm very, very guilty of that, as I am just an imperfect man. I'm a sinner, and I repent every day, and I work hard to live a righteous life and to be a good man, but we all fall short here and there. But what does that really mean? It just means that we are human, and in being human, we admit our imperfection, and then we move forward and we live to be righteous, and we live to do the right thing, and we live to move forward with our life. We don't spend our lives looking backwards and saying, woe is me. We live our lives moving forwards. And that's what this verse talks about. I want to share this piece of scripture. It's out of the book of James, chapter 5, verse 7 through 11. And I hope that these words speak to you in that way that they speak to me. It says, therefore, brothers, be patient until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth and is patient with it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also must be patient. Strengthen your hearts, because the Lord's coming is near. Brothers, do not complain about one another, so that you will not be judged. Look, the judge stands at the door. Brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the Lord's name as an example of suffering and patience. See, we count as blessed those who have endured. You have heard of Job's endurance and have seen the outcome from the Lord. The Lord is very compassionate and merciful. So remember, living a righteous life is not easy. There's nothing simple about it, really. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes a mindset that you put God first in your life. And that's what I want for myself. That's what I want for you guys. I want us to remind ourselves that we have to always keep checking ourselves and saying, we need to put God first. And even when we do slip or we fall or we aren't perfect, that it's okay, because we ask for forgiveness and we never let it ruin our lives. We never let it take us down. We put ourselves as God's humble servants and ask for God to help us find the humility to be his most strong and humble servants. So that's my message to you, and I hope it helps. I hope it speaks to your hearts, and I thank you for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you guys for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. That's going to be it for me. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you have not. Hit it, punch it, tap it, bop it, fist bump it, whatever. Hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.